I can't do a 3, 2, 1. I need to.
We definitely can't do that on there either because that's from Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
We're not getting it.
Right. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Welcome back to This Is Not Financial Advice. This is episode 4, season 1. And we've spoken a little bit already about the process of financial advice, the importance of goals, etc. And now I think it's a good opportunity for us to talk about some of the sort of key considerations, some top tips when it comes to financial planning, and not necessarily, again, in line with the title, not necessarily financial advice, just some good ideas that we think will be useful for the listeners. As before, with a few episodes ago, I'm Liam Covage, financial planner with Quayside Wealth Management.
And I'm Alex Kell of Quayside Wealth Management, also a financial planner.
Cool. I don't know if we just want to get started.
Yeah, let's
just
get
go
straight into it.
right in with, have you got any top tips that you think is useful to share?
Yeah, 100%. So, as Liam said, we listen to clients. We've picked loads up, I think, as a team over the years. What's good, what's bad and different. And there's a clear message of, if you put in a plan in place, it works. But part of that plan is also kind of the inner workings, which is what we're going to try and get to today of, it's all good saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, but the how. And I'll just start with my absolute go-to, which I absolutely love, which is how I budget my money. So budgeting, I think, has always been carries like a negative connotation, I suppose. It's just not seen to be exciting. Whereas how we do it in the Kell household is both of our incomes come into one joint bank account. From that joint bank account, we spend all of our bills. So that will be mortgage, council tax, all the boring stuff. Everything goes out. But what both Amelia and I deem to be one of our bills are what I call our beer kitty, our fun money, whatever you want to call it. But effectively every month I have a direct debit that goes into, I use Starling Bank, a little plug there for Starling. Feel free to sponsor our podcast, please. There are other good banks out there. And then I've got my money. So I can spend what I want to spend, I guess, guilt-free. Amelia and I have a bit of a joke. I'll see her buying a coffee. I don't get it. I think it's a waste of money when you're outside the house. She thinks the exact same with me buying a beer. So I no longer know how many coffees she buys. She doesn't know how many beers I buy. But what that's allowed us to do is effectively when the money comes into the household, we know that we've paid ourselves first almost, in the sense that we've paid our living costs. Yeah. The mortgage is done, the bills are done. But one of the bills is us. Like, we want to enjoy our lives. We don't have the same amount, bizarrely. She has a little bit more. She has a few more things that she needs. I don't. So it doesn't have to be kind of tit for tat. I think that's a really good habit to get into in a relationship, that just because somebody spends a tenner here or a tenner there, you don't all have to do it. You just balance it out.
Yeah, it's nice for things like birthdays and Christmas as well.
Yeah,
where you don't have to worry about that's going to show up on a statement.
100%, like that. Those hidden little the secret stuff. Like you say, you want to buy a birthday present, you want to buy a little gift. Amelia's doing some podcasting of her own, and no, not podcasting, social media. And I went and treated her to a little gadget that she can use. It's cool because she wouldn't know I bought it. Like, it's quite nice for her to be able to enjoy it without it, the surprise being spoiled before she even got home.
Not that
she knows now. She's got it. I gave her. But yeah, there's no kind of hidden surprises. But what that's allowed us to do, so the why, I suppose, because that's just me waffling on a little bit about my beer kitty. What that means is when you get a pay rise, and we spoke about this in the last podcast, that a pay rise is a really powerful way to save and invest money. Mm-hmm. If you think, let's just use really simple figures for our huge audience, all 12 of you. There's more than 12, thankfully. You've got £2,000 a month coming into that account. So really simple. There's £4,000 coming in.
Yeah.
Your household bills are 2,500. That leaves you 1,500, and you each have £500 of play money. So there should be £500 left over in that account every single month. Holidays, big expenses that you're still going to do as a couple, whatever you want to choose to do. And we're talking just really simple round numbers. But if those pays go from £2,200 each to £2,100 each, and everything stays the same, your £500 becomes a £700. And if you're still living the same life, unintentionally through budgeting, you're actually saving because you're £200 better off every single month. So to work through that a bit slower, what I mean is, if your eyes aren't on the account, because they shouldn't be, because you know your bills are paid, your eyes are really only on your own discretionary, which I'm going to lead back to you in a minute. Everything else that starts happening, the pay rises, the increases, if you've got a direct debit, I got a direct debit for the National Lottery, fingers crossed. I don't know the last time I won, but if I won 85 quid and it lobbed itself in the pot, I know it's there for a rainy day. And it keeps a really rigid structure for me of, I know what I'm prepared and happy to spend on my social. Mm-hmm. Therefore, if I get to the end of the month and there's nothing left in the bank account, and believe me, there's been times when I've been at the bar with the lads, like they're looking at I'll pull up my account, see what I've got, and there's 60 quid in it. So that's embarrassing. I'm a fully qualified financial advisor. Mm-hmm. But it's because I want to be good with my money.
Yeah.
So if there's 60 quid left, I've got a few rounds of beer left and I'm going home, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
But it means you're honest about what you spend, which I'm going to throw straight back at you, because you said something over lunch when we were fabricating and bringing this podcast together around one of your top tips.
Yeah,
well, you've got to remember it.
I am just going to follow on from yours first, because there's stuff.
I'll bring it back round the one.
There's stuff I want to chat. But I think partly just you're talking about couples, you and Amelia. Mm. It's not just that doesn't apply just to you and Amelia as Correct. A couple. It's something that I've done off the back of your advice. Like you can have 11 years experience in the industry and be a chartered financial planner. It doesn't mean you can't learn anything.
Yeah.
And actually, I've now got to a point where I was budgeting and I was doing okay, but mostly out of one account. And then we've had this conversation in the past, and now I'm at a point where I followed the same philosophy. And it's just me. I'm not in a position. I'm in a different situation in life. I don't have a joint account where money's coming in and we need separate amounts for birthdays and all of this sort of stuff. But I still have accounts where now the pay comes into one account. Again, slightly different because I have my self-employed account. So now what I've done is all of my business costs just go out of that one. So the money comes into that one, business costs automatically go out of that one.
Yeah.
I've then put my personal direct debits into another account.
Yeah.
And they run out of that one. And then my third account, which is the
hobby money.
The hobby money. And it's like one of the things I found useful with that is just to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Like you say, when you get to this, you've got £60 left and I've got a round of beers and I'm going. Equally, it's like 2 weeks into the month. If I've spent 70% of my money, I know that really if I want to stick on this philosophy, I need to just not do as much for the next couple of weeks. Or not get to that point and actually manage it properly.
Yeah. Or the bit that you said in the other room was just be honest.
Yeah.
So I've got a great couple, really, really look after the whole family now. But I was with one of the sets of son and wife. And we had this whole conversation about how I manage my money. I was just giving them an example. And I think they've adopted it. They said they've adopted it.
Yeah.
But I said, the other thing is you've got to find your feet. So they came with a plan and they said, we think we've got about £2,000 a month left every month to put towards our financial plan.
Yeah.
I said, great, we're going to start with 1,000. And they're like, why? And because we're not going to change the world in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
So find your feet and let's make sure that 2,000 isn't stripping you of a good life. But equally, let's not do 1,000 and be wasteful of the other thousands. Mm-hmm. So get into a habit. And what we did with them is set up that £1,000 saver to out of sight, out of mind, but grabbable.
Yeah.
So they're in the habit of saving 2,000 a month. One's committed to longer term savings and investments.
Yeah.
One's free and easy, but it's out of sight. And we're going to revisit it. And if in 6 months, 9 months, they've stuck to it and it's not affecting their life and they can do all the things they want, we can go and grab that £1,000, or let's say it's 6 months, that's £6,000, top up.
Yeah.
And then we can commit to this 2,000 a month. But I think there's an element of being where you shine a torch on it, and this is what you said over lunch, was the honesty piece of don't just say, I spend roughly £200 a month. Because what this does is absolutely makes you realise you're living in a dream world if you think it's X and it's Y.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to change, but as we've always said, it means you have to make a conscious decision of your spending.
Yeah.
So are you enjoying what you're spending your money on, or are you being wasteful because it's just there?
Yeah. I mean, it ties in with what would be what the first top tip that I was going to come with, which was actually have a budget written out ideal on a spreadsheet, because you can just, if the water bill goes up, you can just go in and put the new water bill in and it calculates your total.
Yeah.
But having it written out, I think, is the first step of starting to build those right habits and managing behavior. And again, being honest with it, because you can easily go through the bank statement and figure, right, or you might know it. The mortgage is this, the water's this, the gas and electric is this. You can put all of that in, but as you're going through that statement, you can just tot up how much.
Oh, there's an Amazon package there.
Amazon, we've seen the delivery truck outside 3 times today. It's just like, it's being honest with it, and as a starting point. And if you're spending every penny that you earn, fine, that's fine. But you want to know that, and you want to see where it's going. And if you are spending £1,000 a month just on the discretionary costs and the little coffees here and the beers there and whatever else that is, at least you know that's what you're spending.
Yeah, and you can decide whether you want to continue.
Yeah.
Or you can decide whether you're going to stop.
Yeah.
And the honesty piece for me is, it's just one Amazon package. It's just one delivery. It is, but it's one a week and it's every week. Therefore, it's not just one. It's actually a regular purchase that you're always spending money on.
Yeah.
Carry on, or make sure you're spending money. And I think the big thing that I'd say is, it's not about. I don't think, and I'm sure you're the same. The purpose of the conversation today isn't to lead people to stop buying nice things, start investing. That's not what I'm going with it. It's the habit of enjoying money. So it puts a focus on stop being wasteful and spend on things you want.
Yeah.
So at least then you can think, well, that's £100 on that. That could be me going to the spa every month. That could be
100%.
me having 2 really nice meals out every month. Is that, what do I want from my life?
Yeah.
It sounds a bit kind of grandiose, but like, money doesn't bring you happiness, but it certainly makes it a lot easier to be happy when you've got money.
Yeah.
But only if you're choosing to use it wisely.
Yeah. And like, worst case scenario, go through that exercise, or not worst case, but the least that's going to happen is you go through that exercise and you decide, actually, all those things I've been spending money on is what I want to spend money on, and I'm happy to keep doing that.
Yeah.
You've lost nothing but a bit of time that you've put into it. You might say, I want to do some of that, but I want to reduce it. I think the next step is, don't be ridiculous with it. Don't be like, I'm gonna spend 50% of what I have been, and the rest is going to go towards a holiday, or some towards saving and investing, whatever it might be. Because building habits needs to be sustainable. And if you do that, first month comes, you haven't managed to do 50%. So it's like, I'll try again next month. Second month comes, you haven't done it again. And before you know it, what's the point in bothering?
Yeah, incremental small wins.
Yeah.
I was talking about this to Matt today. We were saying about building blocks. You can't go from A to D. Yeah. You need the B and the C in the middle. And especially with money, with habits, with food, we've spoken about the gym a few times on here. If all of a sudden you decide, right, I'm only going to eat healthy, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week, I'm going to run in my spare time, I'm only going to drink water, I'm going to cut out caffeine, I'm not going to have any alcohol, I don't want to have sweet food, I'm going to, PT might not let me say it, but it's like, yeah, hold on, but I'm going to be miserable. Where's your win? I'm going to sign up for an eye. I'm going to sign up for an eye, but I can't swim. And my colleague that I signed up with can't ride a bike. Worst decision ever. We'll love that on another podcast. Bad spending decision as well, because if you enter an Ironman and you can't swim, that's me. When you decide, you realise you can't swim, you only get half your money back. So that's possibly one of the best donations and worst donations I've ever made. But it was made in a decision at the time where I felt like it was achievable.
Yeah.
But it goes back to that whole point of just not going too well. Actually, what a cracking way to summarise it! Not going too far too quickly.
Yeah.
I think I was running about 10k, and all of a sudden I thought I was an Ironman. Yeah. That's an example of you're not building any habits there. I thought all of a sudden I was a pro athlete.
Just get straight to D.
Yeah.
And it doesn't pay off, as you know, from your 50% refund. So I think that's great starting blocks. I had a meeting actually this week with a chap who found us on ChatGPT.
Nice.
Actually, which is pretty cool. went to our Instagram page, saw some clips from the podcast, and
still contacted us
and reached out. Yeah, we didn't put him off, which was nice. And actually, he'd spoken to another financial advisor that he felt a bit too corporate for him, and so I think the clips from the podcast are
nice.
doing something for our 12 listeners. But anyway,
with him now.
Yeah, I digress. He's in that position of he's got 4 kids. He's running a business. He's got money coming in, money going out. He's got business invoices. He's got some older kids that want £10 to go and get a coffee, and all of these different things. And he just sort of felt like he just had no control of anything. Like, money's just going out. The reason he reached out to us, he wouldn't mind me saying, is that he sort of woke on a bit of panic around, I've got all of this money going out, but what have I got sort of for the future? And like a large part of our conversation was just about this that we've just spoken about, just like getting the habits in place. And it's like, I can guide you in the right direction, and we're going to get to a point where we're putting a proper financial plan into place. But first, it needs a bit of work from you. I can tell you what to do, but I can't do all of that for you. There's a lot of stuff I can do for you, but building habits, getting into the right behaviors, that's kind of it. You need to meet me halfway with that. And it's that personal accountability, like we've said, with various things that's so important.
The business owner point's really valuable as well, because I often see a good amount of business owners who blur the lines between their business account and their personal account. So almost taking that everything just comes out of one account a step further, and all of a sudden their Uber Eats are on their business account, and the quick taxiomies and everything else. And then they get to the end of year accounts, and the accountant rightly scrutinises it and says, well, that's not an expense, that's not an expense, that's not an expense. But in the background, they've been getting a regular dividend. So the dividend brings them up, typically speaking, to a threshold, normally the £50,000, the £100,000, whatever that marker is, maybe 60,000 to keep them away from child benefit, whatever those markers are. And then the accountant comes and says, yeah, but don't forget, you've got about £6,000 worth of personal spend here that's not allowable business expense. And it nudges them into a place they weren't expecting. And in their mind, let's use, I'll use a bigger figure, let's use £10,000. In their mind, they've spent this £10,000 on business expenses, even though they're not, but just habit, which means it still requires £2,500 worth of corporation tax to be paid. So the 10,000, actually, you've now got money left in the bank, 2.5, which is going to be payable to the tax man. And they're also paying probably 33% personal tax on it that they weren't expecting. So there's over a £5,500 swing on them not having a good habit. And it sounds really kind of just a bit like, oh yeah, but I don't care, it's not that important. But I've never met anyone who would get given £5,000 and go, oh, who cares? Most people are quite happy having that. And ultimately, the bigger the number is, bigger it scales, because people who are thinking that's not a significant amount but are playing with much bigger figures have the same challenges. They spend more on the stuff.
It just escalates with it. And that kind of ties in with something you've already referenced, which is that sort of lifestyle creep of, if you're getting pay rises, deciding, well, if I've had a pay rise and I'm living comfortably as I am now, what's that pay rise going to go on to? Is there something more I want to be doing now that I'm not doing? But but it's thinking about it. It's just having that conscious thought of, right, I'm getting more money. I'm living, surviving and enjoying life on this. Do I want to use all of that money to plan to the future? Do I want to use all of that money to enhance my lifestyle now? Or do I want a bit of both? And that ties in actually something else that this chap that I had a meeting with, it's different because he's a business owner. He's not getting a pay rise. The business might grow and profits might increase, but actually the conversation we had was around some debt that he had for a couple of things. It doesn't matter what it is, but 2 different debts were actually coming to an end in February.
Okay, so that money is then available to him.
And it's a similar principle of, actually, there's quite a chunk of money that's going out each month that come February, that's not going to be going out. If we consciously think about it. If we don't, before you know it, that's just going to get used somewhere else. And so, like, with building that habit, it's like, well, again, I can't do it for you, but I can help. So we've got a meeting booked in February. to make sure
Catch it
when
early.
that change comes in, it doesn't just suddenly get spent, and we have a conversation and put some thought to, is all of that going to future planning?
Yeah.
Is some of it going to life now? Is all of it going to life now? But arriving at what that looks like to then build the right habit with it.
Right. So knowing your numbers, I guess, is the summary of that is know your numbers and actually and know what you want to do with your numbers. Like enjoy them for the now, but make sure you're self-reflecting and actually really enjoying them rather than just spending.
Yeah.
Give us another top tip.
Just because I've literally just thought of it as I was talking about that debt side of things. I guess it's two parts. One, like know the difference between a good debt and a bad debt.
Yeah. That was going to be my next one, so don't be coming asking me a question quickly. So I need to
okay, I'll give you time to think. So know the difference between good debt and bad debt, and also like don't be afraid of good debt, which kind of ties on to that.
Give us an example.
And so, like, just keeping it simple. A good debt is a debt that it's taking borrowing. It's going to enhance your position. This is the way I look at it. It might enhance your financial position. It might enhance your position in life. So things like a mortgage is going to buy you a house.
Yeah.
That's arguably going to do both because it's giving you a home to live in.
The asset value should grow.
And the asset value should grow. A student loan, for example, is going to enhance your education, enhance your life.
Yeah.
Whereas a bad debt is and this, I don't think it's a bit of a sweeping statement, but
I was going to say the subjective.
Yes, the subjective view on it would be a debt is taking a debt that
I can give an example that I reckon would be bob on.
Go on.
Spending £400 at a clothing shop, and slap it on a payday loan, because there's no way you're sat at home naked, therefore you must have clothes. You don't need to spend that money on those clothes, but put it on something like a payday loan, which is arguably possibly the most expensive way to purchase those clothes, is bad debt. It's not adding any value to your life. But as much as you might think the happiness of seeing that parcel come through the door, the reality is it's not adding what the cost of it is. Bad debt.
It's not adding to your life. And that's a really good example. It's quite an extreme one because you could have bad debt that's not a payday loan. It could just be a loan that's beyond your means. Because I was going down the thought of like borrowing for a car, but borrowing for a car can be good debt. It's a depreciating asset. But if it's within your means and it's the right thing to do, and if it's gonna improve your life in some way, it's not to say it's a bad debt.
Okay, that's true, and I won't argue against it. However, when you see an individual with a £700 a month car payment, and a £1,200 mortgage, arguably there is no reason they need that £700 car. Bad debt. Fine if I'm a car person, love that excuse. I hear it all the time. And actually people are car people, so I'm not suggesting don't do it. That's what you want. But that links back to the first point of being conscious of your spend. Be honest. Is £700 a month adding the value to your life that you think it is? Or could that be a £300 car or a £400 car to give you £300 or £400 back in your pocket to enjoy life?
Exactly.
So the bad debt and the good debt's a massive one for me. I love that. Somebody once explained it the other day to me as a bad debt is something that's adding value to your table. A bad debt is one that's taken away from it. And what they meant was like a house. They used the exact example of like, it should be an appreciation asset. It puts a roof on your head. It keeps your family safe or you safe. A bad debt they used a car.
And that's why I think it's so much of this is subjective. And because there's some other tips that I was thinking of that we might come on to, but
we'll have to because I haven't got any more.
I'll do the next one. But there's sometimes people let's go to the last tip of budgeting, right? I see so many times on TikTok and Instagram and all of these different places where I think I stole another one.
Not really. Let me put a punchline in there that we might be able to clip for a soundbite. But my view of social media experts, especially around finance, who aren't qualified, who shouldn't be allowed to do what they do, is they are now the modern day equivalent of the man down the pub. But my friend said this, my colleague said that, my family did this. The world's different. But what it certainly is, for a really good reason, is regulated. You don't have to be regulated to whack a TikTok video out.
And on a much grander scale. because the bloke down the pub might see 5 people through the night, and by the end of the night, he can't get his work done.
The man with his flashy Lambo that he's hired is a bit different.
Yeah, exactly. What was I talking about?
You were.
I've seen it on TikTok.
You've seen it on TikTok.
So an example of like things being much more subjective. I see people talking about budgeting, and they say you should do 50, 20, 30. It should be 50% spending on your bills, 30% spending on your direct debits, and 20% spending on you or whatever, or saving for the future. I've got that completely.
50, 30, 20. It's something like that.
Shows that it's not stuck in my head because I've got no interest in it. The reality is, it's so much more independent to us all.
Yeah,
of like that chap that I spoke to in the week, going straight in with a 50, 30, 20 isn't going to work. We need to set those stepping stones in place.
And also, like, use the chap we've just been sat in a meeting with.
Yeah.
He's mortgage free.
Yeah.
He's got his household bills. And then he's got a very, in his own words, quite humble, normal life.
Mm-hmm.
If he was spending 50% of his money on his household stuff, what's he spending it on? He's buying a castle or something. Like, it doesn't, it's even as a rough guideline, it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Because also, what about the person who's got no value in the house they live in, loves the lifestyle they have?
Yeah.
30, 50, 20.
Exactly.
What about the person who actually now is ready to get their head down, really graft because they want to retire really early? Well, then you need to put the 50 at the future.
Yeah.
It's so subjective.
And that comes back to that last tip of the good debt, bad debt. And
how do we get on TikTok?
God knows. We're taking some fast. But the reason I was saying about that.
No, I said, how do we get our clip on TikTok?
How do we get our clip on TikTok? Yeah, we are not the bloke down there.
Yeah.
We are qualified and regulated, although this is not financial advice.
Yeah.
The good debt, bad debt, and how I've even got onto that point was.
No, we come off that. We went onto TikTok.
Went onto TikTok, and then we were talking about.
I then interjected with the
bloke down the pub,
and you said the 50, 30, 20. That was it. I think that was the point. 20. I think the point was about just not having, like, it's just not rigid. Yeah. Like, it's not.
That's what I'm saying. Is and it's the same with good debt, bad debt. It's not always financing a car. In that example that you had heard, was car finance is a bad debt, and sometimes it is. My car is on finance, but it's a good debt. In my situation, it was not a bad decision. It was a conscious decision to take debt because I knew that was right for my situation.
Yeah.
It might not have been for someone else.
You weren't riding a bike to work every day.
Yeah, but it was the right decision. And then ultimately, that comes back to the whole don't be scared of debt as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can feel overwhelming, but if it's good debt for you, it's okay to have debt. It can get you to the point you want to be. It can get you the house. It can get you the right car. And sometimes, for some people, actually keeping debt in place allows them to free up some of their cash in other areas.
At the right time in their lives.
At the right time in their lives.
I don't know if we said this on a podcast, but a great example of this was one of my clients who wanted to put their son through private school. And they could not see the wood from the trees. Didn't have the money, didn't have the budget, both in normal jobs. Like, say normal jobs are both in good jobs, but what I mean by that is it's not cheap, right? It's expensive to put somebody through private school. And when we cut down to all the numbers, they were going to be mortgage free like by their early 50s. And they didn't need to be because they both had intentions to work much later than that. All we did was shuffle the debt to extend it, which gave them more money now, which allowed them to save a little bit before the boy goes to school.
Yeah.
Through school, the mortgage payments are lower, so they can afford to top up.
Yeah.
Finishes school, kick back into the mortgage, manage the debt, get it cleared off, still retire mortgage free, which was an objective. Mm-hmm. But interestingly, how many times you hear those kind of one-liner phrases of, my mum said to me, my dad taught me this, I've never buy anything I can't afford. It's like, well, that's fine, but unfortunately, there's certain times in your life that you should be entitled to enjoy something as long as you've got a plan to how you afford it. Just put it into place. And good debt and bad debt's a really good example, but it's not restricted to a product.
Yeah,
it's not a car, a clothing, a house.
Yeah, it's the person and the situation.
What requirements you have at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, number 4.
Number 4 is I promised I wasn't going to do it, but have you got any top tips?
Have I got a top tip? I'm going to go with the old adage of, we've said before about knowing your numbers. Be a bit smart about where they are in regards to your cash savings, pensions, investments, whatever it may be. I used to say this to clients all the time. I haven't said it for a long time, but if there was a bag of cash in the corner worth £50,000, I would hope a client of mine would pick that up and come to me and go, "What do I do?" Maybe not cash, because I can't manage with cash, but the principle of, I've just found X amount of money.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
What do I do with it? I found an old pension. What do I do with it? I found an investment. What do I do with it? I've been given an inheritance. What do I do with it?
Yeah.
And this isn't about financial planning. It's not what I'm suggesting. But what it is about is, if you've got money lying around, everyone's taking money from you. Inflation is making money from you. Banks are taking money from you. The tax man is taking money from you. Be smart with what you've got. So we're in a position in the business where we've hoarded some cash because we've got growth plans. Because of that, we've put it in a high interest account, because I'm paying the bank every month to be a client.
Yeah.
At the end of October, I'm going to have a corporation tax bill. I might as well try and make something on that stagnant cash that sits in between. Really good for people who haven't made any decisions. So I don't know what I want to do, but I do want to do something in the short term. Cash is king. Shouldn't be anything else.
Yeah.
I love the fact that so many people still love the old premium bonds, but be honest. Again, it's the whole, I win every month. It's like, check.
Yeah. And
2, check how much. Because if you've got 50 grand in premium bonds and you're winning 25 quid, it's not really a return. It's a pretty poor one. But just use your money. So I would always say, if you've got something, is it in the right place for the right time for when you need it? A bit back to the gold. What do you want? When do you want it? How much does it cost and why?
Yeah.
Same thing. If you've got cash, should it be in cash? If you've got an old pension, is it being looked after and managed? If you've got investments, are they in the right place? Have you ever spoken to anyone about them? Because people don't do it with their everyday stuff. So why would you do it with the big ticket stuff, the important stuff?
Yeah.
Debt. I've got a mortgage. It's really easy for me just to refinance it with the same company. Mortgage brokers wouldn't exist, nor would hundreds of banks if there wasn't a reason that you could have a choice. And if you're paying 0.3% more on a debt that's 300, 400, 500 grand, it's a hell of a lot of money over time, because it's not just the difference in that monthly payment. It's the knock-on effect of the compound of that over the 30 years you're taking out the debt. So my top tip would be, if you've got debt, make sure it's financed in the right place. And if you've got savings, pensions, investments, all that stuff, get eyes on them. You don't have to take advice, just go and have a look. But is the risk profile right? Is it lined up for the time when you think you're going to need it? Is it even there for a reason? You must have had this conversation with clients. I'd be shocked if you haven't. Okay, so you've just told me you've got £30,000 in the stocks and shares ISA. What's that for? I don't know. Okay, but what are you going to spend it on? I don't know. So all the opportunities missed there of right risk profile, right timeline, right investment wrapper. Again, this is not financial advice. Investing carries risk. Your money might go down as well as up. Getting a mortgage, you got to keep up your payments, otherwise they take your house off you. We all know the caveats, but to be able to freely talk about this topic, there are different investment wrappers. There are different timelines for people. There's different risk with all of that. But if you're not even thinking about it, you can spend 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years with a little cash pot, never been used. I had a great example of a friend of mine who said to me when I was doing a mortgage, she went, "Oh, Al, I've had like 40 grand in cash for the last 10 years. Quickly showed her on a compound calculator what that would be today. It was literally 40 grand. It wasn't £40,000 and 500 because she'd made a tiny bit of interest on it. It was no different.
Because the cost of living going up.
No, because she hadn't put it anywhere. It was literally, it's only been 3 years since banks have even given us interest.
Okay, so she wasn't even getting interest. So actually the figure was still 40.
Sat in.
But what that 40,000 is going to buy her is a lot less.
That's the point of remortgage. She was like, "What should I do with this?" I was like, "Where's it been?" It had been in her student bank account, which historically, as we all know, why do banks do it? We offer a teaser rate when you're a student. Come and join us, £500 to join, because the second you get into working life, they offer you 0 interest and we're all complacent.
And we just
Use your
leave it.
money, like be sensible with it. It's
over.
free money. And the best thing I read this week was, I want to learn how to make money while sitting on my hands.
Yeah.
Love that. And we've all got the opportunities to do it. Doesn't matter if it's £100 a month in a savings plan or £100,000 a month or £1 million. Just get on and use it.
There's ways to do it. And
So that's my tip. Make sure where your money is actually in the right place.
Yeah. And it's sorry, I think part of that is similar to like the know your numbers. The starting is start. Do you know what I mean? It's I speak to so many people where they're like, I know I've got some pensions, but I don't know where they are, and I've got, maybe I had this cash savings account, but I'm not sure. It's like, just start by knowing what's there, and then come on to do what you've said of making sure it's in the right places. Consider what you actually want. Is it invested at the right level of risk? But first, make sure you've done the little bit of personal admin to just know what you've got and keep on top of it. There used to be an unclaimed assets register.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And like the figures on that were just so scary.
I saw one the other day about unclaimed pensions. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable. It's a massive figure.
And it's like, ultimately, if you don't keep on top of what you've got and you do forget things, when you get to retirement, I just took a phone call actually, as we were setting up the recording for the podcast.
I know, that's why we're late.
For exactly why I was late. But with good reason, because, and I've spoken about these, I think, in the first podcast, an elderly couple that I've helped.
Yes, it was the first podcast.
And they're kind of at the final stages now of getting it all sorted. And when they first came in with a carrier bag full of paperwork that they had found because they were reorganising their spare room. And I won't talk about figures, but there's a pension in there that they didn't know they had, which is enough to give them like a good couple of years of big holidays with the family and to really enjoy. If they hadn't moved that spare room around and they hadn't found that carrier bag, they would have never known they had that pension.
Yeah, they've ended up with it by accident instead of by intent.
Exactly. And had they not have known, they never would have claimed it. And if you don't claim it, it doesn't go to anyone. And if you don't know, there's no way when you're gone, your family are going to know.
Yeah.
So it's like, just keep on top of that stuff. That's your money.
Well, that's another good example. Just make sure it's on top of it. Change your addresses. Make sure your information is right. It's a real funny one. You can see why it happens. I do understand why it happens, but this all, like, I sit here listening to this, and some of this sounds so boring. Like, oh, what do you want to do on Saturday? Oh, I want to go through my bank statement and check I know where all my money is. But what else can you actually do in life that provides you more money because you've already got it?
And just keep.
Do you know what I mean? All you've got to do is just tidy that up, and you'll probably make some money.
Yeah,
that's quite nice.
Yeah,
I love nothing more, and I genuinely mean this phrase. My mother would be so proud of me saying this. Pair of trousers. Like, if I wear a pair of trousers for one day, they're just going back in the wardrobe. I'm not washing a pair of trousers after wearing them one day. Nothing beats whacking on a pair of trousers. You just pull out the wardrobe, put your hand in the back pocket, and there's like a nice crisp £10 note.
Yeah,
it's like, free money. It's not free. It's always been yours.
Yeah,
I love that feeling. Or I grab a pair of shorts that I haven't worn for like 4 months because of the summer. Although this year's been amazing, and there's like a £20 note in the back pocket or a £5 note in the back pocket. It doesn't say much about how clever I am with money, but I don't carry a wallet because Apple Pay everything.
Yeah.
So I happen to have some money because we've gone out for drinks, and I've said I'll get the round, and someone's gone, all right, there's a tenner towards it. I love that feeling. That's what we're talking about. Just go and sort your stuff out. One, you might find a few of those little pots, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
But two, if you get them in the right place, there's a 99% chance that the next day you'll make more money than you would have been doing by doing nothing with it.
Yeah.
Free money.
Just from knowing what you've got and where you've got it.
Other one. I've got another one now.
Okay.
I love this fact. In the last 96 years of investment markets, in 50 of those years, markets have taken a fall of up to 10%, over 10%.
Yeah.
So that's almost one every 2 years, right? Recovered, but on an escalator going up a yo-yo. Investments are at risk. All the other caveats. Not talking about investments. Another thing that I'd say is a really top tip is when you've ironed out what you want, when you want it, what's the purpose of it, stick the course.
Mm-hmm.
Markets are definitely, for everybody, going to go down at some point as well as up. You will always have a time in your life where you log onto your account and it's further down than it was than somewhere else at some point. It's inevitable. There is no golden goose.
Yeah.
But if you think of I don't know which way I've got to do this on the camera. I think it'll be that way. If you think you start here and you get to here, on a cash account that's got a steady interest rate, that's what it'll do. It'll just go straight.
Yeah.
Would have gone like that, and now it's starting to do that because there's no interest on cash. Now on an investment, it'll do this and bounce all over the place. But if you're thinking from here to here, which is where am I starting? What is my goal?
Yeah.
This is noise. So one of my absolute top tips would be, do not get sucked into the emotion of making decisions because of what you hear and read. You know, think of all the speculation of Trump's tariffs and everything we've seen this year.
Yeah.
And then look where we are.
Yeah.
A brilliant year for investing. You would have never invested if you'd listened to all of that and thought, this sounds like doom and gloom, I need all my money out. I took a call last week, and an example of this I'm going to give. I say a brilliant year for investing. It's a brilliant year for people who want to remain invested.
Yeah.
It would have been a really challenging year if you needed your money out because it's been quite volatile.
Yeah.
So right place, right time, reasons and why. I want to take all my tax-free cash out of my pension. Why? Well, because they're going to reduce the amount in October. I said, I appreciate you calling me. And he's like, why? And I was like, well, I didn't even know that. So who's your hotline in? Thanks for telling me. And I was being a bit facetious, but the point I was trying to make is this client, and I said, I am happy to do this. I've got no issue. It's not my money.
Yeah.
I am a custodian of helping that chap spend his money when he wants to on all the things he wants to do. Mm-hmm. I have no idea whether that's going to happen. I'm not a believer that it will, touch wood, but we've got a government who are making some pretty snappy decisions. Every time the government makes an interesting decision, our job is to find a way around it to make it still work for the client and all the things they want to do.
Yeah.
But he is making a decision on speculation. I think if you look back and you said, make every decision you make based on what the government or the rules have said are going to happen within 9 months, you would have made far, far more worse decisions than you would have done good.
Yeah.
Far more. So again, the other top tip around that is don't make decisions based on speculation. Like, work with what you know. It's our mantra, isn't it? We have to work with what we know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that age-old thing of, and the reality is every budget, there's so much speculation, and 90% of that speculation doesn't come true. And like you said, the 10% that does, we just think about what's the right ways, what's the right things to do now that that's actually coming, that change has happened.
Yeah.
Not, we've changed something 6 months ago because we thought this was going to happen. Oh, that hasn't happened. Now we've made a big mistake by putting some stuff into place that we shouldn't have put into place, or taking money out that we shouldn't have taken out.
This is our first podcast. I've got to tick adults only now.
Yeah, true. I forgot that we don't do post editing.
I'll mute it.
That's an example of a little beat. But that's sorry. But that's.
I'm going to zoom in and face a couple of those exclamation marks.
But that, do you know what I mean? That's you can't just you're just guessing. It's similar to just like gambling. It's similar to just choosing I'm going to invest some money on this share because I've seen in this WhatsApp group that it's a great share.
Yeah.
Or I've done 10 minutes of research and this cryptocurrency is where I need to put my money. It's not to say that can't pay off for people, because some people have got rich doing that, but it's a massive risk, and ultimately you are gambling on speculation.
Yeah.
And it's the same with doing that with tax rules.
And the risk, that's a really interesting piece for me, is ironically, people don't see the risk when it goes well for them. The chap Ad that we were in a meeting with earlier on, the interesting thing that he said, he was like, you know me, I'm not really risking. Then he smirked because he's a business owner.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of multiple properties. He's got investments. He's got some tax planning investments, which are quite high risk.
Yeah.
So there's cash in there. He's got staff to manage. He's bought, built, and converted a house. That's a risky guy, in my opinion. And he smirked about it, but because he's, and such word, long may it's continued, lovely chap, he stays on top, his perception of the risk that he's taken are probably a lot different if you ask the person who ran a business that failed.
Yeah.
If you ask the person who invested in something and it completely fails.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get caught up with the emotion of everything's going so well.
Yeah.
A great example of that stock buy, was a client buying into Cineworld about 2 days before they announced it was going into administration. No research. It's really cheap. Must be something great to buy. Yeah, it's really cheap because everyone else is getting out.
Yeah.
Because a sensible investor, even if they put £100 in and it fell to 2, if they knew it was going to 0, just take your 2.
Yeah.
Very hard to do emotionally, but you're just setting your money on fire otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, that's maybe just think of one quick top tip, and this could probably just be applied to life, which is like know what you know and accept what you don't know.
Yeah.
Because like we don't choose shares. We don't when we're investing, we're not the ones that are choosing, and whether it's our money or clients' money, we are not choosing the individual companies to go and buy shares into, or we're not going out to the market and saying, I want this bond that's loading this money to this government or this company. You have fund managers. We have fund managers that are experts at doing that. We have a whole investment committee that chooses those fund managers, make sure they're doing the right things. They are people that have dedicated their life to doing that research without getting too into the detail of like the financial stuff and what we probably find exciting and other people probably find boring. Then there's different ways that those fund managers actually make that decision. But I tell you now, what all of them are doing, whatever their style of the 3 different styles, all of them are doing in-depth research.
Yeah, they're doing it on facts. They're doing it on. You don't invest billions of pounds for somebody. On a hope.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that looks all right. Let's have a go. It's nonsense.
It's like deep analysis of the business, the profit and loss. They'll even go and spend time in the business with the board members, getting to know the directors to that level before decisions are made. Not I saw it on YouTube and that looks like a.
But it is a life lesson, isn't it? I did all the doors. We got new carpets in the house this year, and the doors wouldn't shut. Lovely carpets, too thick. Well, not too thick. Doors were too. They were nice carpets. They were too thick on the old doors. So I thought, well, I can do this. It can't be that hard. I'll just get a planer.
Yeah.
It's harder than you think. For starters, I planed the top of the door instead of the bottom of the door on the first door. Then I thought, I'm not doing this because it's one of the hand ones. So I bought a electric planer. 40 quid, I think, for B&Q. And basically all you do is you hold it against the edge and run it flat. That's what the YouTube video said. That was a lie. It was far harder. I completely messed it up. I split the wood, knackered the door, put it back on, tried to hide it, didn't get away with it, still across the carpet. And all I learned there was the trust an expert.
Yeah.
Then a chap came around and quoted, I think he quoted like 300 quid or whatever it was to do all the doors. I thought, I just don't care anymore. Just come and do it. He must have been there. If he was there half a day, I'd be absolutely shocked. But I'm paying him for his skills.
Yeah.
I'm paying him for his expertise. I'm paying him because he knows how to actually sand the bottom of the door. Anybody listening to this going, you're an idiot, you can definitely sand the door off. Either try it, because it's not as easy as you think, or if you are the person who knows you can do it, there's a skill, you've got one. Yeah. It's not that easy to do. And that goes back to the whole, like, just because somebody else does it, doesn't mean you can. People don't always let on the knowledge they've got and most people aren't showy. So if your friend's good at doing X, Y, and Z, they're probably putting more time into it than you think.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like you say, you don't. It comes back to you don't even necessarily need to have a financial advisor. If you just put a budget in place, set up your accounts in the right way,
you're winning anyway.
Get on top of what assets you've got. You're already on the front foot. Now, if you had a financial advisor, could you be much better off? Probably, but being frank,
quote,
yeah, probably, but. That's not to say you can't do it.
You should be.
And it's like with your doors, obviously you didn't get it right, but you could have probably done a semi-decent job had you maybe spent a bit more time, done a bit more research, maybe made sure you had all the right
foundations, right, exactly.
And done it. Would it have been as good as the chap that's come and done it in a day?
He's done a great job.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And it's
that being said, if I lived in a castle with 400 doors, by the time I got to the 300th, I probably could have done.
You'd probably be all right.
But I haven't got time to do that.
Yeah.
And exactly the same as get your foundations right. But ultimately, we haven't all got the time to be the masters of all these different things. Get the right people doing the right things for you and then concentrate on enjoying life.
Yeah. Yeah. And some things you can have a go at and you might do the right job.
Yeah.
Some things you don't even want to risk it. Like you don't want to be sort of doing your own teeth. No. Just get to the dentist.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get the the drill out. But any other final top tips before we wrap up?
I don't know. I think that's a good summary. I might think of some after the recording, but it's probably too late then.
Well, it is, because I'm not going to press record again. What would I say? Have I got any more? What of all the best things that we've seen people do? I guess this all just links in. It's just that foresight. It's fair to say, if I was putting our clients in a demographic, without being too stereotypical, but if you could write a line through it, those who are younger have less than they want.
Yeah.
Those in the middle are more conscious, but aren't necessarily saving enough, but also aren't necessarily spending too much. Those at the top normally have far more than they need.
Yeah.
And actually, I used this example the other day with a client. There's no point me saying well, we just had it again. I can afford X amount a month. Well, what's the point? What for? Because it's all good saving £1,000 a month so your future's better. But if you only need to save 600, what's the point? And if your financial advisor or your mum or your dad or your brother or your sister is saying you need to save more, look them in the face and go, why? Because if they can't answer why, they haven't asked you why you're even saving in the first place. And the amount of times I've met people who go, yeah, these are the things that I've got to do. So, okay, what does that look like? We've met clients who've got to retirement and haven't got enough.
Yeah.
And then I had to pedal quickly. But we've got plenty of clients who've got more than they need. But probably look back a little bit. I've worked every day, every Saturday from 16 till I was 34.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And I regret it.
Yeah.
But brought up, money makes the world go round, be sensible. He's got a great financial position. He's worked very hard for it. But there's so many people that probably just don't know what they can either spend or not spend. And finding that balance doesn't have to be a miserable chore. It should be something exciting.
Yeah.
Imagine booking all those holidays knowing you can afford to and you're still going to have a great life. People are fearful of knowing the answer, I think. They don't like to look it in the mirror.
Money can, I know for a lot of people, it can be a massive cause of stress, and it can be a massive fear, like you say. But if you don't do anything about it, that's never going to change.
Yeah.
And actually, you can enjoy it. You can get to a point where it's there and you're enjoying it in the right ways. You just got to put a bit of work in.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's the best final top tip is enjoy it.
Yeah. I would always like to be known as the financial advisors who've encouraged spending. That is my absolute go-to. And if we get that right, clients are going to be well happy.
Yeah.
So this is not financial advice. Let's whack some caveats. If you don't pay off your mortgage or you don't pay your mortgage payments, did you know you might actually lose your house? If you didn't know that, you shouldn't be lent money. Let's use a bit of common sense. Investments can go down as well as up. There's probably some tax thing that we should be saying.
Yeah, this is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice. Oh, absolute top tip. I swear by this. It is not financial advice. This is a definite top tip. Protect what you've got. That's a given. Solid foundations built on protection.
Yeah.
It's horrendous to think about insurance. People don't want to spend it. But if you want to save £500 a month, but you can insure it all for 20, save 480 and spend the 20. Get it right. Get it structured right. But I've never, ever met somebody with insurance who's needed to claim and gone, I wish I'd never spent it anyway. I've met plenty who've done the other.
Yeah, I am
shocked. That one is a massive one for me. We should have picked that up probably right at the beginning.
I thought of it about twice as we were going through, and then come to the end and I've forgotten. But yeah, it's like
insure what you've got. That is so, like, I couldn't be more adamant that people need to do more of that.
Yeah,
it's a shocker that we don't.
The reality is, all of the other stuff we've spoken about of saving, investing, saving tax, whatever it is, all of that, it's like, it's easy to focus on like the nice shiny stuff, and it's going to get me this, I'm going to have these holidays, my family's going to have this. But the reality is, without the right foundations again in place of all of that plan, if God forbid something happens to you, there's no point focusing on all the shiny stuff because it's all going to fall apart anyway.
And this one is like, it's classic. We'd say this in a bit morbid, but I don't care to say this really. Take a flipping good hard look at yourself in a mirror and be honest. Are you genuinely saying you don't care what happens? Are you honest that you think it'll all be all right? Is your mantra that if something goes wrong, it'll just figure itself out, or you're lying to yourself? Because so many people just aren't being honest.
Yeah.
If I had no insurances now, and I got hit by a bus on the way home, house would be gone.
Yeah.
Business would probably be gone.
Yeah.
Amelia would be back at mum and dad's. People would be out of a job. Clients' lives would be messed up. All of that would be gone. We've got our own private insurances, personal insurances, mortgages, health, life insurance, income protection. I've got insurance for this business that puts money into it.
Yeah.
So that if I'm not here, somebody can come and step in and take on without stress flowing the cash.
Yeah.
We've got contingency with the team of who's going to look after the clients. Like, not just monetary insurance, it's insurance. But it's such a difficult conversation to have as a financial advisor because it sounds like a sales pitch. I just don't care. It's so important that people should be really honest with themselves. It really kind of gets my goat of you being honest. And there are a few people who listen to this podcast. One of them I open listens because I get on really well with him. We have a bit of a joke about this. But in my last text message to him, I said he was spending some of my time asking me to do some stuff, and I said, "Oh, you could spend all of my time you want if you could just get this insurance sorted." Because I really fear that if he doesn't and anything happens, I've got to deal with the aftermath. Yeah, because we know the family. Yeah, and there'll be none of my friends, there'll be none of my colleagues who come to me and go, why didn't you sort this out, Alex? Because I have, and we've documented it, and we've even got to the point of writing on a piece of paper saying you've ignored this. Yeah. I think all financial advisors should take that on board. I think all financial advisors should make that client sign a piece of paper and said, I've told you the risk, you know what it is. Yeah. Because it'll also make financial advisors be better at their job, because too many of them miss having that conversation. Because it is the most stressful part of our job. It's the hardest part of our job. It's the most frustrating part of our job. It's the most admin intensive part. Because it's a nightmare, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, I'm absolutely fine. Okay. Any bad history? No. Yeah. Well, I say no, but, and then the raft of ailments come up. But because we live with them, we think we're really fit and healthy. I struggle to get insurance because of a health condition. But I'm healthy, I'm fit. But from an insurance point of view, I'm not as fit as you because you haven't got it and I have. We've then got to go through this weave of stuff. And I managed to get some health insurance, some life insurance for a client who'd had, it wasn't a brain tumour, but it was a tumour so close to that part of her, like on the back of her neck. We found an insurer to do it, but my God, we didn't have to jump through hoops. But she was so happy because she's got children, she's got a husband, and she wanted to make sure she was covered. Yeah. Because she knew what the fallout would be if she didn't have it. I rant about that. I shouldn't do, but
and don't get me wrong. I understand why people, because one thing it's similar with like money can cause stress and fear. Thinking about your own mortality isn't enjoyable.
We get nothing for it because if you're the one that has a claim, you're not enjoying it. Yeah, you're dead. Yeah, but income protection, you are. Yeah, critical illness cover is putting you in a comfortable place. Yeah, and the whole but if I got a critical illness, we can afford the mortgage, and I'll just go back to work. Seriously? Yeah. We've gone through it. We've gone through it with clients. You've had a serious incident. Their eyes have been woken up to mortality. They ain't going back to that same job in the council or in the financial advice world or whatever it is. They're thinking, oh, wow, this is my one shot at life. Yeah. You know, the old adage, everyone knows they've got two lives. They work it out when the first one almost gets taken from them. Yeah. So it is, I think that's such an important part. But let's not finish the podcast on a negative. So sort your money out. Yeah. Tip 1. Make some more money off it. Yeah. Tip 2. Enjoy budgeting by spending money.
Yeah. And just enjoy your money. Like,
yeah, don't let it be the thing that stresses you out too much. Yeah. There are loads of ways to make it help you. Spend it on holidays, spend it on the things that you like, spend it on flash cars if you love cars. Yeah. Yeah. No one cares.
As long as you're doing it for you, not because everyone else has got a nice car on Instagram or it's got to be what you enjoy. Yeah. For all of it.
Yeah. Top tips done by Liam and Alex of Quayside. Thanks for listening again, everyone. We will be back with episode number 5 in the not too distant future. What that'll be about, I'd have to say is one big secret, but we haven't got a clue yet, have we?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But hopefully you've enjoyed listening. I've been Alex.
And I've been Liam.
See you all again.
Yeah, I think so. How long? It felt quite long.
Did it?
No, I don't know if there might be some more bits to cut out.
Liam's iPhone 3 storage is full.